What's up, everybody? This is episode 66 of Hoops Talk with Dave's Joint. Shout outs to everybody that's been, supporting us thus far. For those who haven't seen our episodes, go check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and IGTV. But without further ado, we have a very special guest here today. Some of you may remember him from Harlem. Some of them may remember him from his days at St Reyes or the Robinson School. He comes from a family that's royalty in Harlem. But, without further ado, I have with you Mr. Tory Ferguson. Tory, thank you for coming on, to share your story.
Glad to be here, bro.
Indeed. So, my first question is, when did basketball first start for you?
Shit, man, for me, for real, basketball started since I was probably around, 12, because honestly, my first sport was baseball.
Wow.
So, after I got my feet wet in baseball, I just decided, it was like a natural feeling for me to just go into the hoop scene. So that's how I got introduced to hooping around 12 years old.
That's what's up, man. So, talk about, growing up in Harlem. You grew up on 143rd, correct?
Yeah, uptown, A5. I was there a little bit. I was bouncing around. When I was young, I was kind of bouncing around, even when I was going to Rice. I wasn't even staying in Harlem, around that time. But, I just always went to school around there. So it was, home anyway for me. But, growing up in the, New York City scene, it was always, it was dog-eat-dog world, B. It was always, who next up, B? That was always the question in New York. Who next up?
Right.
So being in Harlem, man, it just made me tougher since young, B. So, I mean, I love being from Harlem in New York City, man. That's my hometown forever.
So you actually are related to a lot of, to some famous people in Harlem. Your uncle, D Ferg, he created the logo for Bad Boy Records. Rest in peace, D Ferg. And you are the cousin of A AP Ferg, the famous rapper. Talk about, the Ferguson family.
Yeah, man. I mean, I love my fam, man. That's just, that's forever, man. We got a real deep connection, and we always support each other, man, from day one, for me. I got my pops, T Ferg, he hold it down, cousin hold it down. I got my brother, C Ferg. It's the whole family, babe. We all strong. We stay connected, man. And I'm just super blessed to have family members like that really got my back and want me to be successful, feel me? Because they push me on the court and off the court. So it's forever love. It's Ferg forever.
That's what's up, man.
Mm-hmm.
And shout outs to T Ferg, because I remember when I was at SUNY Delhi, your cousin did a show at my school, and your pops was there. He was basically holding down the fort. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Mm-hmm. That's his job, yo.
Yeah, man. He got the toughest job. When people trying to get at your cousin, and it's mad, probably hundreds of people, probably even thousands, and he got to hold them back.
Yeah. It's easy, though. It's an easy transition, man, because that's family, feel me? So he just, protect him with his heart, man. That's all love forever.
So, what is it? How does it feel having a famous cousin like Ferg growing up?
I mean, it was always that's D, man. To me, that's D. Feel me? That's cousin. Feel me? So it was always I never looked at it oh, he's famous and all that. It was just my cousin. Feel me?
Right.
A lot of people look at it different because they just probably never experienced something like that. But it's always we stay grounded where we at. You know what I mean? So. And at least we stay humble and we, just keep working hard. That's what we do in the Ferg family.
That's what's up. So back to basketball. So how did what was some tournaments that you loved playing in?
Growing up?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was so many to even remember. Of course, Dykeman. Everybody had to come through Dykeman at one point. Some Ross Strickland tournament I remember. It was a couple tournaments, big. Honestly, man, I can't even tell you every one. But if I had to say, man, it got to be just hands down Dykeman. That atmosphere is just always always litty.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
All right. So, high school. You said you first started out at Rice.
Yes, sir.
So you were part of the. So basically, your freshman year was the final year of the school's existence.
Yes, sir. It was me. It was me and my boy Morley, Shavar Newkirk, Chris Robinson, Ray Pender. Just a couple dudes in name like that. And we was the last freshman class out of Rice, and we really was like one of the most talented classes for real, in my opinion, because we was tough our freshman year. I remember that for sure.
So how did it feel? Finding out that the school was gonna close.
Damn, thinking back on it, man, when I first when everybody first heard that Rice was closing, it was kind of just all hell broke loose a little bit. You feel me? Just not even in a bad way, but like just it was nobody seen it coming for real. And then we was freshmen, so we kind of was heartbroken because that's what we grew up. We grew up wanting to wear the Kobe's and all that because Kobe sponsoring Rice. Rest in peace, my man's. But it was just it took us back, man, because we definitely had to adjust and find another home. So that's when I ended up going to St Reyes after that. You know what I mean?
What made you want to go to Rice first off? Because that school is famous for guards. Like, and was there like any pressure to perform when you were there?
Shit, I mean, for sure. I mean, the thing that made me want to go to Rice for sure is probably my man's Mitch, man, because he the first dude I ever talked to about even going to Rice. Because at first I was about to go to St. Anthony's in Jersey. That was my first option, like, you feel me? So, but I remember one time we had like practice in the Chos, and I remember Mitch coming up to me just asking me like, what high school are you going to? And I was telling him St. Anne's. He was like, nah, but you ain't going to St. Anne's. So he basically recruited me early at Rice, feel me? And I just fell in love with it, man. I was always a Kobe fan. I'm a huge Kemba Walker fan. Kemba Walker fan. And, Edgar Sosa and, like, dudes like that always inspired me, man. Just because, they had the same herky-jerky type game. They could shoot the tray. They could dish for their teammates. They could create. So it was always, I always looked up to them guys at a young age, you know what I mean?
So at this time, were you still living in Harlem when you went to Rice?
Yeah, I was still in Harlem. I was mostly staying in my grandma's crib on A5.
Okay. But the family, your parents and all that, they lived in Jersey, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So after Rice was closed, like how was like the school, like how was it like finding a new school? Because at this point, it seems like everybody was scrambling, trying to find a new situation.
Mm-hmm. I remember, man, just thinking back on it, it was crazy because like Shavar, Chris Rob, and Morley, they all wanted to go to Hayes, so they went to Hayes, feel me? And then I ain't really want to, my competitive spirit, I ain't really want to follow the crowd. So me and my boy Ray Pender, that's when we just ended up going to St Reyes. You know what I mean? We just took it on the fly, man. I ain't really know the coach really. And we just said we out. You know what I mean? Because I ain't want to follow the crowd. That always been my little thing. Like I'm gonna do it how I feel. So I'm gonna do it my way.
So what made y'all both decide on St. Reyes?
Man, I mean, it was St. Reyes got a decorated history, and it was still in the CHSAA, still a tough school. It was we just fell in love with it just because we was young, wanted to hoop at a high level. So that's what made us just make that move. You know what I mean? Or make me make that move.
So your sophomore year, you decided you basically played JV while Ray was on the varsity. Talk about that JV year.
Yeah, that JV year was legendary, man. Like, honestly, man, of course everybody wanted to play Voss as soon as possible and everything like that, but it was a lot of stuff going on. I had a lot of older dudes ahead of me at my position, like Shane Rector, Larry, a couple dudes like that. But when I just played JV and I just took pride in it. You know what I mean? Because every game I was going hard, and I just wanted to show everybody that I belong at that varsity level. You know what I mean? So I never got discouraged. Like I always tell my young boys, like don't get discouraged. But I just took it, head on, man. Because that's what made me like build confidence in my game at the end of the day.
I hear that, man. So you did you ever play AAU?
Yeah, for sure, man. I played with the Chos. I played with New Heights. Yeah, that's basically my two teams, the Chos and New Heights, for real. We was on that Adidas circuit before they turned you under.
So talk about, your time with New Heights.
Yeah, New Heights was cool, man. New Heights was a learning experience for me. We traveled a lot. I was teammates with Paul Jorgensen, other dudes like that. So, yeah, it was a learning experience, man. We was all over, man. We had a good run. You feel me? Learned a lot. Played against plenty of dudes in the league now. D'Angelo Russell. You know what I mean? Dudes like that. So AAU was cool for me, man. But AAU not for everybody. I always say that. Or like, you know what I mean? You got to make sure you're in that right situation at all times.
I hear that, man, for sure. So now we're going on to varsity of St Reyes, your junior year. Now that Dingle Kerwin, who was our most recent episode, Daniel Dingle, they graduated, but Shane Rector dipped out and went to South Kent. Talk about that junior year.
Yeah, man, that junior year was special for me, man. Me and my boy Luis Santos, we was Sean Jones, Kayvon. We was working, man. We had a good young core, and we was always hungry, man. We always wanted to prove people wrong, man. And if I'm not mistaken, we actually won I forgot the conference chip that year, I believe, in our conference.
The Archdiocese?
The Archdiocese, yeah, versus Hayes. If I'm not mistaken, I think that was junior year. But nah, man, it was definitely a fun experience, man. I always reflect on the nest and like just everything about it. And I mean the atmosphere, the fans, the students, the faculty at St. Reyes. It was just always love over there.
What was it like playing inside the Ravens' nest?
Man, it's one of the greatest atmospheres ever in New York City. If we're being honest, man, like I just remember, even back when we played Wings and I ended up hitting the game winner.
That was your senior year. I remember that day. I remember that night very well.
Yeah, so I mean,
we'll talk about that later.
But nah, it was like St. Reyes. I always got love for St. Reyes at the end of the day, man, for sure.
How did it feel playing against the rivals? Moving on to the rival school.
From Rice to St. Reyes, right?
Yeah.
Man, we got a lot of flack for that at first, you know what I mean? But we just, it was one of them things where we just had to make a move because Rice was done for. Rice was closed. So, I mean, I understand the long rivalry and all of that, but I was young, man. I just wanted to go somewhere to hoop, man, for real, to be honest with you.
Yeah, man. I hear that. So, talk about, Antigua. He left after your sophomore year, and in comes Lopez, who was already the assistant, who becomes the head coach that first year. So, how was it playing for him for 2 years?
Yeah, Coach Lopez was we took it. It was a learning experience for me for sure. But he was a good guy. You know what I mean? I learned a lot from him. It was a fun year. Like at the end of the day, it was a fun year, man. I don't want to, I don't got nothing bad to say about him. Feel me? But it was all love, man.
Nah, shout out to Lopez, great dude, wonderful dude. So your senior year, talk about that experience.
Yeah, man, my senior year, man, that was like the icing on the cake, man. Just in my head that whole year, I was thinking about college and where I'm gonna go to, or if I'm going prep or whatever. I just wanted that senior year was special to me because it was like a milestone I finally reached, and just I felt like just my game was progressing, you know what I mean, at that point. So I will always remember my senior year of high school, man. It was all good for me. I don't think we ended up losing to Christ the King, I believe. Rolly Alkins and them. We lost to them and fought them. So we never got to really fulfill our full potential, as you may say, but like I say, man, you can learn from anything, man. You can learn from everything.
So now we can talk about that game. What was going through your mind when you hit that shot against Wings?
And I always remember that, man. Like when I got that rock on top of the key, I remember like I had Malik Thomas on the left wing, and I was telling him to clear out because I already knew what move I was gonna do. So I was gonna go to my left, one dribble, step back, game when I already knew what I had. I already had it in my head. But you know, Coach Lowe ended up telling him to come through, set a pick. So that's why I had to go around the pick. And I just blacked out for real. I just wanted to take my team home, man. Like I be having dreams about that joint, man, for real. Because it was just I really had to just take my team home at that point. And I was one of the best feelings I ever had.
Oh wow, you still got dreams about that game to this day.
Yeah, I still think about it.
Wow. Yo, so how was your recruitment in high school?
Yeah, man, I was a late bloomer, low key. Like, to be honest, I had a couple like schools after me and stuff like that. But back then, I ain't really listen and stuff like that, and I ain't really take my grades and put like serious as I should have. So that's kind of what derailed me and made me ended up going to prep school in Jersey at the Robinson. But you know, yeah, my fault. Somebody called me.
No, it's cool.
But yeah, my recruitment was cool. I wasn't really tripping, man. At the end of the day, I had to get my grades right before anything. You feel me? I could tell you schools that was on me, but that's irrelevant. You know what I mean? So it was really just getting my grades right and getting my priorities right.
So let's talk about that year at the Robinson School. Shout out to Vince Robinson, who's now a NAIA college coach, if I'm not mistaken.
For sure. Yeah, he had Miles College. Yeah, man. Coach Rob, my guy forever, man. Rest in peace, Coach Mick too. He just recently passed about like 2 months ago, a month ago. He's an assistant coach.
Mickey Carey, man.
Yeah,
great
man.
guy.
So, yeah. Well, my Robinson experience, man. We was star-studded on that team. I ain't gonna lie, man. We had me. We had Corey Tate. He a pro now. We had Eke. You know Eke. We had Lamar Trey Harris. Travis Cook. I could keep going, man. We had a bunch of heavy hitters on that team, and we was number one ranked post grad in the country at one point. So we was working that year, man. That was definitely one of my funnest years playing basketball. Irvington, New Jersey, the gutter.
So what happened after the Robinson School?
After the Robinson School, I mean, I ended up redshirting at North Carolina A&T. My freshman year. Yeah, that's when I ended up redshirting at my freshman year at A&T.
Okay,
I had plans on playing there, but Coach Saw ended up resigning mid-year. So, and after that, I had to end up transferring.
Damn.
But my freshman year was definitely still amazing at North Carolina A&T. Like, I would always have Aggie pride. You know what I mean? I was with a couple dudes. Sam Hunt, he ended up going to North Carolina State. Bruce Beckford. You know, just a lot of pro dudes that's still doing what it do. I learned from them a lot.
Wow. So that's crazy. How was the the HBCU life, off the court at A&T?
I tell people all the time, man, that was my funnest year in college, probably my whole life, to be honest. Because HBCU life different, and I went there. I was class of 19, NCAT 19, so I went there when it just wasn't cool saying you going to HBCU. Like I was there when it was actually like litty, feel me? So I mean, it was always great, man. I loved it, man. Greatest homecoming on earth. That's the homecoming. That whole week is turned up. Like you can ask anybody, man. So when it comes to A&T, man, that's forever Aggie pride, forever.
Nah, I hear that, man. And where was the school at? In Greensboro, right?
Greensboro, North Carolina, yeah.
Yeah, I just actually interviewed a coach from Greensboro, North Carolina. Shout outs to Freddie Johnson from Greensboro Day, one of the all-time winningest coaches out there.
Mhm.
So yeah, so you went to Baton Rouge Community College after?
Yes, sir.
Now talk about you went from North Carolina to the Bayou. You know, talk about Baton Rouge.
Yeah, BR, man. I got love for BR too, man. We was right next to LSU. Back when Antonio Blakeney and them dudes was going there. Yeah, so BR was great for me. That's when I really, really, really got my confidence up in my game. You feel me? I averaged close to 15 points that year, 5 steals, stuff like 5 assists. So I was coming into my own at BRCC, and had great teammates as well. You know what I mean? And had a great coach, Coach Wilson. He taught me a lot. He put me in the right situation to really excel my game. So I'm forever thankful for BR.
Mm. How was the Mark? How was the culture out in Louisiana, man? I'm not just talking about basketball, but
Yeah.
the life out there in Baton Rouge.
Shit, man, I'll live in BR one day. Honestly, like I'll get a crib in BR. Cause the vibe out there was crazy, man. Like even like all from people from all walks of life, they cool people out there. You know what I mean? They take you they take you in. Feel me? As family if you over there. It's always
Yeah.
loving BR.
I was watching No Limit Chronicles the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Master P, he bought basically everybody that was on the label. He bought the mansions out there.
Word.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Word.
And it's an hour from New Orleans.
Yeah. I ain't really get to go to like we played a couple games over there, like probably like three to 4 games over there, like while I was at BR. But I ain't really get to experience New Orleans like that.
Mm.
We was always in BR, like, to be honest. In Mississippi, traveling and everything.
The real country.
Yeah.
So after that, you went to the current school, your most recent school, I should say, Life University,
Yes, sir.
in Marietta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy because I was just in Georgia. But talk about, you know, your 2 years at Life U.
Yeah, man. Life you told me a whole lot, man. Life you. My fault. My fault. Somebody called me. Life you was tremendous for me, man. Yeah, Life University, man. That was definitely another tremendous learning opportunity for me. I came in junior year for real. Like I ain't really. When I had my when I left BR Baton Rouge, I still wasn't taking my grades serious. You know what I mean? And I still kind of got sidetracked because I had a couple D2 D1 like interest D2 offers coming out of BR, like some real good schools like Tulsa State, Midwestern State, some great schools in the Lone Star Conference that was after me. But yeah. So after BR, I had to get my grades right again downtown and BMCC for a year. I just had to get my associate's degree, so I knocked that out, and that's why I ended up randomly getting the offer from Life University because I had no idea about the school. I didn't even know. Like to be honest, me as a youngin, like back then, I never thought I'd be like going to a NAIA school. You feel me? That was always just I never grew up like thinking I'd go to a D1 NAIA school. But once I went there, the atmosphere was just like a D1 school. You know what I mean? Because there's a whole bunch of D1 transfers there, and we was in one of the toughest conferences, the Mid South Conference. So we had a real good year. My junior year, we ended up making it to the conference chip. Ended up losing to Georgetown College. They was one of the best teams in the whole conference. We beat them. We smacked them like we split series with them like throughout the season. So we always went at it with them. They was one of the top teams in the conference. But I'll highlight for that year, man. I did my thing. Had great teammates. Demetrius Houston, he a Mississippi State transfer. Devin Dorsett, he another D1 HBCU transfer from the MEAC. plenty dudes. My boy CG, knockdown shooter from Minnesota. So I was surrounded with a whole bunch of gunners, man. I did my thing, and we all meshed together. So
That's
yeah.
what's up, man. So did you finish with Life U?
Yeah, I ended up finishing there. Yep.
Got your degree and everything?
Yes, sir.
What did you major in?
Business.
That's what's up, man. So, what's your plans now? Now that
And
you've
man,
graduated?
yeah, for sure. To be honest, I'm still looking for an agent and stuff like that because I'm trying to really play professional at some point, but I'm not rushing the process at all. And it's been a lot going on lately in 2020. So really, I'm just checking in with my mental before anything.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I'm not rushing into nothing. I'm making sure I'm ready physically and mentally when the opportunity comes.
Yeah, man, because this summer, well, I should say this year, people are bugging out over COVID. I mean, yeah, maybe you shouldn't be around large crowds, but that doesn't mean you have to stay confined in your crib either. You know,
Right.
people are telling people, oh, stay home, stay home, stay home. But, you know, what other solutions do you really have? You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So this is the time when I ask a question that I love to ask before I lead up to the final question. If you could go back to 2014, what would you tell Tory at 18?
Damn, man, I probably had to write a whole book, man. But if I had to really tell myself something at 18, it's just like, get your priorities right, little bro. Feel me? Like, take care of your schoolwork, you know, take care of everything, man. You feel me? Because it was definitely a learning experience for me, but I ended up bouncing back, and I feel better than ever these days. Feel me? Even though everything going crazy these days, I lock in mentally, man. Everything happened for a reason.
Indeed. Final question: what's next in the future for Tory Ferguson?
My fault. I ain't hear you. Would you say that again?
Final question: what's next in the future for Tory Ferguson?
Man, big things to come, man. Me and we gonna get this family business straight. You know, we got big things coming. My cousin doing this thing. I know God got me. I know I need an agent that's gonna really believe in me and take me to that next level because I know I can play at that next level. You know what I mean? So big things in the future, man. But I'm staying patient, staying, God first, family first, staying level-headed, man. So big things in the future.
One bonus question. Let's talk about the Tory Mamba nickname.
Yeah, man, that's always, like I said earlier, man, Kobe Bryant, man. That's been my idol since I was yay high. Feel me? Like, that's what inspired me. I had Kobe's all, like, growing up. That was the only sneaker I wore on the court or off the court. It didn't even matter. So every time, I just apply that to my name because honestly, it made me go so much harder. And just even thinking about him passing away not too long ago, because we were still in season. And like after he passed, that really motivated my game, man. It took me to another level. I was shooting above 50% from a long stretch, you know what I mean, ever since. You know what I mean? So I think about him every day, man. The game miss him, the world miss him. I for sure miss him. And, it's just, it sucks that we had to, see that happen. But you can't ever question God, man.
Indeed. Well, Tory, thank you for coming on, for sharing your testimony, and I wish you nothing but the best with your future moving forward.
For sure, my God. Always love.
Indeed. Well, everybody, this is episode 66 of Hoops Talk with Dave's Joint. Shout outs to Tory Ferguson. For those of you from Harlem, the Drew Hamilton Projects, aka Hungry Ham. Those of you that went to Rice High School or St Reyes with Tory. And if you friends of Tory's from the South, definitely support this episode.
Sure.
On YouTube, Facebook, and IGTV. Stay safe, stay blessed. Peace.
Peace.